There's very few mods that stick around in my head after I complete them, and I wasn't expecting Entropy Zero Uprising to be one of them. So, this mod is basically a mod for Entropy Zero One. In it, you play as a new character supported by a new group of companions. The story takes place right after Gordon goes into the Nova Prospect teleporter. In Half-Life 2, it turns out that Gordon and Alex were gone for a week after teleporting from Nova Prospect to Kleiner's lab. So basically this mod takes place in that week. The explosion at Nova Prospect signals the start of the uprising, hence the mod's name. Anyway, I always liked this perspective of playing as the bad guy, and the way they are portrayed here are in the classic Entropy Zero style of writing, and their dialogues are actually pretty well written. In the beginning, you're mostly regrouping and completing tasks to fight against the rebels in City 17. And speaking of City 17, the maps and their designs were pretty good. However, I do need to point out a personal gripe I had with it. And I noticed this unconsciously in a lot of City 17 based mods. The height variety of the buildings. I felt like that the whole block was almost the same side in some of the areas. However, that was my only gripe with the exterior maps. The interior design, however, is absolutely top-notch and very well crafted all around. There's also plenty of atmospheric lighting done quite nicely that instills a depressive mood in some areas, like in the Combine Nexus area. A solid visual design also needs a solid layout for the maps too. Sure, a map could look pretty, but it gotta play good too. There are some areas in the mod where it's quite open and you might feel like you're lost, but that happens very rarely. Most of the times the maps are very tightly knit with easy to follow layouts that all adds up for a great experience. All encounters, the small breaks in between for dialogues, it's all pretty goddamn good. However, there's one gripe I do have with the gameplay side of things. You see, in a short mod like this, I wouldn't mind a defending sequence, where you have to sit in one place and defend the area or a person. Once or twice would be fine for me if they're spaced out, but I feel like there were one too many of these defending sequences in each of the chapters. It doesn't mean it makes the mod play bad, far from it, but I feel like some players might feel bogged down or flustered by these sections. Continuing on the story, we find a bunch of Metro cops and plan to raid a rebel base in the industrial outskirts of the city in the canal blocks. And I didn't mention it before, but the mod does a great job at the whole storytelling thing. You got this main story on one side, with backstories of each of the characters on the other. A good storytelling technique doesn't involve too much exposition, but rather relays the information with small dialogues or scenes. It's hard to get it right, but this mod does get it right. Now, the industrial maps is what I love the most about the mod. Sure, City 17 looked good, but this industrial aesthetic sort of gave me a nostalgic trip to the mid-2000s for some reason. It made me remember the days when I played games like Half-Life 2 or Left 4 Dead or Garry's Mod for the first time. But nostalgia aside, the maps are pretty well made. I especially like the skyboxes and the rain effect. Sort of gave the whole section this sort of melancholy, and the muted colors provided some sort of personality to the whole lifeless place. Again, the way the map layout is done makes it extremely easy to navigate around the place. Look, it might sound like a minor thing that I keep blabbering on about, but good layout is crucial for achieving good game design. If a game or a mod makes me ask the question, where am I supposed to go next, then the game or mod has failed in my book. Don't tell me wandering around aimlessly in a map is fun. Anyway, we meet up with Beck, who's been injured, and he takes the charge on things because he knows what to do and where to go. We also see this rebel APC that will later appear as a boss fight. Now, one thing that I haven't commented on is the music. The music, which is a mix of original tracks and Entropy Zero tracks, are pretty goddamn good, not gonna lie. Every time one of the tracks started playing, it would feel so badass. And same goes for the voice acting. It is done very well. Some of the highlights from this section was the first APC fight, which was pretty interesting seeing how you don't have a RPG to take it down with. Using the SMG grenades and the explosive barrels does the trick though. Then there was the part with the chimney. I don't know why, but this part felt really exciting. Maybe because of the sheer height of the chimney, or maybe the impending doom if I took one step wrong. This whole little segment here at the train station was nice and showed these zombie variants called the Metro Zombies or something. Instead of a grenade, they're holding an explosive manhack. Also, as a side note, and this might feel like a weird comparison, but I really felt like this whole rainy industrial section felt like Stalker. I mean, with the whole rainy weather and the dark and dingy textures, really made me nostalgic for Stalker for some reason. Maybe they look similar, I guess. Anyway, we hop on the train and move out. In the next area, Beck gets captured inside a train container and we dash our way across the map to save him. Here we come across an APC that's drivable. This was a pretty fun little section that wasn't too long nor too short, and at the end we have another APC fight. Again, I really like the whole atmosphere here. Kind of minimalist but really cool looking. The wet floor, the skybox, the rain along with the music was just awesome. Then we proceed further, but unfortunately the train carrying Beck shows up from behind and smashes right into us. This then transitions us into the finale of the mod. So we wake up from the train crash almost near death when a new character shows up. Meet Bloody Cop. Yes, that's his official name. So Bloody Cop takes us out of the wreckage and turns out he's looking for Beck. Now, this part takes place at nighttime City 17, and I gotta say, nighttime City 17 is a vibe. The parts where it's completely empty and dark and the only source of light is Bloody's light, it's such a unique sort of mood. Bloody and our fellow Metro Cops team up to assault the mall and save Beck. Inside the mall, it's pretty much balls to the walls action. Albeit it might be a bit too dark for some players, but the darkness with little lighting made for an intense shootout. We do save Beck, but then we get ambushed by a crap ton of rebels, and then strangely enough, Metro Cops. But it turns out these are Traitor Cops. And yes, that's their official name. Traitor Cops have yellow eyes and have teamed up with the rebels to kill us. After a tough battle with both the rebels and the traitors, we end up in this control room where Beck and Bloody go out to find the other traitors, and we stay behind to monitor the situation through the control panel. Unfortunately, the traitor cop leader and his goons ambush us from behind and shoot us dead. However, since the mod is called Entropy 0 Uprising Episode 1, there's bound to be a post-credits scene, and there is. It shows Beck looking at us while we're in a tube of some sort, recovering maybe. So yeah, Uprising Episode 2 is sure to come out and I can't wait to see what happens next in the story. And just a heads up, there are multiple endings in this mod. I only managed to get one of them, but you can get 3 other endings as well. Which of them is canon? I have no idea. But yeah man, I really liked this mod. I really liked how it played, how it looked. I especially liked all the interactions we have with the other Metro Cops. It kind of feels personal and it has a story that's not too crazy deep but rather enjoyable, and it's just the right amount of length to finish in 1 or 2 sittings. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks so much for watching, and a big thanks to these benefactors for supporting the channel: TDK Retro and AAFPS, Cobalt Dragon, NoClick, Unusual, Geode, Jason, Fisher Grice, Klaus, TTG, Stevus Brevis, Slamdance, Lamdry, 15 Glorious Minutes, Hawk Assault, Mistress Baban, Alien Grunt, Mark Jellen, A Normal Street Lamp, T-Boy 301, TRR Droid, The Hazardous Memer, Bipolit the Fighter. Thanks again, and see you in the next one.